Hey guys. Um, the next thing that we're going to write is a literary analysis. So we're going to be drawing from a particular source. You all read The Necklace by Guy Maupassant. So you're going to be quoting the text. So I wanted to go over three ways that you can incorporate direct quotes into your writing. There really are only three good ways to do this. So I want to hit those real quick. They are using a tag, embedding it, and using a colon. We'll take those one at a time. Using a tag. A tag is just a little piece of, it's a little sentence, it's a little clause, got a subject and a verb. He said, she wrote, I replied, said the butler, asked the maid, whatever. If you're reading fiction and you run through a dialogue, most lines are going to have some kind of a tag in it, and the tag can show up in different places in a sentence. For example, it can be in the middle of a sentence. It can break a sentence up. He stopped, writes Maupassant, stupefied and utterly at a loss when he saw that his wife was beginning to cry. Okay, the dialogue tag is in the middle. Here we have it at the beginning, or we can put it at the very end. Be careful of putting it at the very end with a long quote, because you can sort of lose the flow of what you're doing, lose your reader if they've got to read a long quote and then you've got the identifying tag at the end. It can be a little confusing. Generally beginning, or if they're real short, you can put them at the end. Embedding a quote. This is a real good way to show that you have knowledge, you have fluency of the story. If you know it real well and you're borrowing the author's words as though they were your own, then you know the story really well. One way to test if you've got an embedded quote is if you read it out loud, nobody would know necessarily that you were even quoting directly. Unless they've got the text memorized and they know all the words, they might not know because there is no indicator like a dialogue tag. Here's an example. As Loisel proposes the idea, he is stupefied and utterly at a loss when his wife breaks down in tears. Now, if I had read that and your eyes were closed, you wouldn't necessarily know that I was quoting the text. Now, maybe you remember that from the story. You remember those actual words from the story. But the way that you really know is you look and you see quotation marks around it. So you know that I'm embedding someone else's words, the author's words, as my own. The author's words become part of my grammar. So I need those words in order to make this a complete sentence. That's what we mean by using it grammatically. Okay, then using a colon. When the quote is an explanation or example of something you've stated, then you use a colon to introduce the quote. Here we go. Early in the story, we see Loisel's failure to understand Matilda, colon. Now what we're going to have next is the actual quote, which is an explanation of what I just stated. He stopped, stupefied and utterly at a loss when he saw that his wife was beginning to cry. Now what I typically see where this is done wrong would be an example like this, where instead of the colon, the writer puts in a period. What you do there is you separate the quote out from your writing. It's not really incorporated into your writing, other than it's on the same paper that your essay's on. It's really not a part of your writing. It's floating. We want to avoid floating quotes, so we need to incorporate them either with a colon, like in this case, a tag, or we embed it as our own language. So if you don't see one of those methods, then you probably have a floating quote, and you want to avoid that. Okay, we're starting to write with literature now, and a lot of what you're going to write in high school deals with analyzing literature. So these are three easy methods. You need to get them down. Make sure you're employing them as you write your essay this week on The Necklace. Thanks, guys.